Hello, I'm Roberto, and we are learning Rust. We have also with us here today, like always, Luciano.
Hello,
Good afternoon.
everyone.
If you don't know this channel, in this channel we talk about Rust and technologies. You can find recordings of the previous stream on YouTube, and if you're watching this on YouTube, we stream every Monday, 6 p.m. Dublin time on Twitch. Today we are going to review a PR that one of the people in the chat left us, Tommaso, and trying to understand what he's doing, because he's doing some crazy magic around the build pipeline of Cargo. So let's try to see if we are smart enough to understand it. And after that, probably we'll go on with some templating of the image that we are sending out with our newsletter product.
Perfect. Should I share my screen?
I think so. If you want to share the PR, or you can read all the PR to us and we write down.
Yeah, kinda. Yeah, we'll see. I'm just gonna drop this in the chat just for people to follow along. And basically, what this PR does. So one of the problems, let's call it this way, that we had generally in this product is because we are effectively using multiple lambdas, and these lambdas will need to have some kind of configuration. We are injecting the configuration through environment variables. So if we look very quickly at our template YAML, this is all our infrastructure as code, where we define multiple lambdas and other kinds of resources like an S3 bucket. But if we look DynamoDB tables, other tables, queue. If we look at the function, for instance, this one, form rendering function, this one has one environment variable, and it gets more complicated. Like this one has 3, this other one has 5, and there is another one that I think is gonna have like 4, and whatever, subscription table. So the problem is that every time we have to deal with these environment variables, we end up doing code like, let me check, maybe this one. In our main, we need to do something like this. We need to do check this environment variable. If it doesn't exist, panic. Check this other one. If it doesn't exist, panic. Check this other one. If it doesn't exist, panic. So there is a little bit of repetition. And I believe that Tommaso's idea is to use build scripts to effectively, at compile time, load the YAML file in Rust through the build script magic, parse the YAML, and create a struct for us that can do all of this in like one struct. Gives you like a configuration. It's going to load all the data from environment variables, and then literally here we just need to use one line of code to say use that magic struct, and then you can say struct dot campaigns table, struct dot subscription table, struct dot email queue. So hopefully that makes sense.
Basically, is looking at the template of SAM. So the template we are talking about is the SAM template in the root of this project.
Exactly.
And is parsing that YAML and is
all
taking
this YAML here.
Yeah, is taking is matching the lambda with by name with the cargo package name with the name of the lambda in this YAML tree. Based on that, is going to look at what are the environment variables and create Rust code based on the environment variables that are found there. So in the code, we'll probably find format and creation of this Rust code. To simplify this Rust code, this build time dependency depends on a library to get environment variables.
Yes, we'll get to that in a second. Meanwhile, we have Pedder in the chat. Hello, Pedder. How are you today?
Hello.
So, yeah, where do we even start? We have a few options.
I will start from the PR on GitHub.
Okay, so which I also pulled here locally, so we can see some of the effects of that PR as we go. So if we go in the PR, let's see. So we have a few files. So I think Tommaso was just showing us an example applying this PR only to one of the lambdas, the confirm subscription. But we can, if we like this idea, we can take it and propagate it to all the other lambdas. Should be relatively easy. So do we start with the lambda? Let's do that. If we look at the main, as we were saying, the idea is that rather than doing all this env var campaigns table, env var subscription table, env var token secret, and so on, all of this stuff can be just done with one line. So this init from env is going to effectively do all of these things. And by the way, if we add the new environment variables later on in our template.yaml, this should update automatically to be aware of those new environment variables and load them as the function starts. Now, I think here Tommaso took a little bit of a shortcut. Probably would make sense to just push the env in the config object, because we do have a config object, so that everything basically is automatically available everywhere throughout this Lambda. And I think it's less repetition, but we can easily do that change. The main idea here is that this one line replaces all of them. And if we change the YAML, dynamically will contain the new environment variables. What do we look at next? How is this SEM env implemented, or should we look at the build.rs?
Let's jump to the build.
Okay, build.rs is a little bit of a mystery to me, so we might need to look at the docs, which I have pulled here in another tab. The only thing I know is that build.rs is a magic file that you can have in your Cargo projects to effectively hook into the lifecycle of Cargo when it's building your code to do extra things. And generally people use this to build, for instance, C libraries, if you want to create like bindings to your Rust project, or if you need to do any code generation type of thing. So in this case, I think we are more on the latter, where we are generating code that then we want to use inside our project.
I would point out before changing file, line 10.
Line 10 here, yes.
There is an include macro that is probably doing a use this and that. And because this Rust file with the structure that we need to load is created by the build script, basically, somewhere, that is including the file directly, pointing to the file itself, not through use or dependency. It's just saying, give me that.
That's a good point. So this is effectively replacing this line with the content of this file, which lives somewhere that is effectively a bit outside the normal scope of.
Yeah, it's in the out dir that I suppose is the out dir of the build script, the normal Cargo build script that is /build /target /something. I don't know.
Yeah, and by the way, just as a side comment, I imagine that we could have done all of this with a procedural macro as well, but that's another thing I haven't explored much. So maybe works, maybe it doesn't, but for now, let's keep going with this one.
Yeah, the change in the Cargo TOML, what are the changes in the Cargo TOML for the Lambda itself? No, not for the SAMenv, for the Lambda.
Oh, this one, okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I just linked to the build dependency SAMenv.
Okay, this is a build dependency. So that build script is making use of this SAMenv library, crate, that is in the root of the GitHub repository that is referenced by relative path.
Yeah, in a way we can say it's another package in our monorepo project.
And because of that code that we include requires env-config, it is another crate, we need to add that env-config crate in line 26 there. Yeah.
Yes.
Because this is like a copy and paste of code around automatically. So that dependency becomes a dependency of our Lambda.
That's a very good point. And this is actually a little bit annoying because I guess it kind of creates an implicit link between this version and this other version. So if this was a public library, I think you will need to be extra careful in mentioning somewhere in the docs. Be sure to include this specific version.
Yeah, because the code generated is...
The code generated will assume that you have this version installed.
Tomas is saying, I don't like the env-config in your Cargo TOML anyway.
Yeah, I do agree with that. And I think that's... Okay. I mean, I assume that is because of the reasons we are trying to highlight here, that creates some kind of coupling that is not automatically managed. Like you need to document that and the user needs to be careful with.
Yeah, otherwise it will try to create a compiled code that will fail because the dependency is missing. But well, the build script is not that complicated because it's just 14 lines.
Let's have a look. By the way, I assume just to come back to this point for one last second, that maybe if we use something like Cargo expand, because what env-config does is effectively like a macro that allows you to annotate the fields of a struct to say you should initialize this field using this environment variable. and it probably behind the scene does the same stuff we did in here, and var campaigns, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
So I imagine that if you could expand that macro, maybe you don't need a dependency anymore. But that's,
so you write your code generation will generate more code, but who cares? It's code generation. And if you only use the core libraries, libraries should always be there.
Exactly, because when you annotate with a macro, it's more code generation. So I think in your build script there might be a way to say expand
to do the
code
same,
generation, and then you are independent from that library. You are effectively copy pasting the result of that library into the final file. But I think we are pushing this too far. Let's stick with what we have.
Yeah.
Build script. So build script is this 14 lines. What does it do?
Build script is making use of SUMENV that we will look later. That is a library that is in the root that is referenced in the cargo toml as a build dependency. So is outputting line 3 and 4, and the documentation that you have open is important because this build script, from what I understand, is running only if build.rs, so this file, change, or if the SUM template in the root of the project changes. So if we change that file, it means that probably it's possible that we change that environment variable. It's not sure, but in any case, if that file changes, better to rerun. And if this file changes, also better to rerun. Is creating a config for the SUMENV crate, having template, path, so the path to the file, the package name, and I think cargo package name in line 8 is the name of these
package. I think it's what we have in, let me expand here. This one,
confirmation subscription, is that name. That in theory should match what we have in the template. Maybe
doesn't match 100%, at least not in the name of, let's go to the template, because we do have, for instance, send confirmation function, maybe matches here. Yeah, it should match here on the code URI.
Because let's look, but I think it's matching on code URI. Let's look later. But remember this, that we pass a name in this build script in the config that is the cargo package name. The output path is the outdir. Again, I think is an environment variable that cargo gives us. Output file name is a Rust file name, then SUMENV RS. That is the same name that get imported.
That we need to use here.
Is the same name that should match line 10 in the other file.
And then there is a struct name, which I'm
not sure that is because it's generating code. It will generate a struct with a name. That is the name of the struct that is generating.
Right. Okay. So we know what to import in.
We know how to use it because in our main RS, that will be the name of the struct that we have to use. We have to import the file with the output file name.
Like here,
and line 104, SUMENV is that struct name that comes from that one. So then it calls sprite SUMENV with this configuration. Unwrap. I don't know why unwrap. Because can fail in theory.
So Tommaso is saying that the match is on code URI, but it could be different again because dash is moved to underscore. Okay. We'll probably see that in a second when we go to the SUMENV library.
Yeah, so now if we follow down the rabbit hole, all these jumps, we have to go to write SUMENV. That will be
in this librs.
Yeah. What is in that cargo toml before jumping into the...
So in this cargo toml, this is the package SUMENV, so adds this functionality of being able to generate code that loads and uses environment variables from the template YAML, needs Serdi with the derived feature,
YAML to read the YAML file,
and then anyhow to manage errors in a more generic fashion.
Fancy way.
I think anyhow is more like I don't really care about errors. Just let me handle all errors in a kind of a unified way. So it gives you utilities to basically generalize all error types.
Okay, so the librs, what we have inside our librs?
There we go. So we have. So first of all, we have that struct.
Yeah, that config that we created in the file before.
Mm-hmm.
That is the only parameter that writes some env takes.
Exactly, yeah. And then what does it do? It reads the template path.
Okay.
Then if there is any error, it will, you see this result, whatever. So this is basically saying that, is there a generic result? Oh yeah, this is the anyhow result. So you see that since anyhow kind of flattens all the different types of errors that you can have, it gives you like a result that doesn't even expose the error type because it's always going to be the same. That's kind of the idea. So it's a little bit of a shortcut. I honestly wouldn't use it for libraries. I would use it more for application code where you may be using different libraries and you want to flatten all the
yeah, but this is for the build script. It's not for the code itself.
That's fair enough. So maybe in that sense, yeah, it's probably more of an application.
Yeah, a build script, I see that as an application.
Okay, so that's the idea that here we are just saying if there is an error coming from the read itself, so you cannot read the file, for instance, or permission error, or whatever, flatten it to a generic anyhow error. Similar here, we are going to try to parse the YAML using this set the YAML into a generic YAML value, and if it fails, generic error. Then from this template, we are going to try to read a field called resources. Resources can either be a none, in that case, our YAML is not good, or it can be something. And that something, as mapping, I suppose it means that it needs to be dictionary or whatever is called in YAML, a map, like a key value pair, basically, type of object. And again, if it's not a key value pair, because it could be a string, right? You could create resources and put a string in there, then fail.
Then again, the YAML is malformed.
Exactly. Then otherwise, if all is good, we try to parse the list of resources, and we want to filter not by key, but by the value. Okay, here maybe we should have looked first that the type of resource is an actual serverless function, because in resources we might have all sorts of things.
Yeah, but then it's filtering by code URI, and if that is not present, it will just stop there. And the filter is going to fail. So everything that has a code URI is seen as a Lambda.
Yeah, I honestly don't think that there is any other resource that has a code URI. Maybe a cloud front function. But just to be safe, it would have been nice to filter by resource type as well. Then, and here is getting the properties. I imagine the properties Wait, how is it assuming that properties is a mapping as well? Does it need to do as we did here as mapping? Yeah. How can this work? Maybe.
Tommaso say that by default is a mapping. Cool.
By default is a mapping. Okay, good to know. Then we didn't need to do it here as well, right?
Yeah, probably. Oh, well, anyway, we look for the code URI, we take the str of it, then we try to see if it contains, if it ends with / package name, and we check it before it's ending by /
yeah, we follow that convention, I think.
Otherwise, it's giving us a false, but in our case, should give us at least one true. Then we take only the value of that resource, and we collect it as a vector of values. I think a vector of ser the values.
Ser the YAML values, I think.
Yeah. Ser the YAML values, exactly.
Okay, so all of this makes sense. By the way, the alternative approach could have been to create structs that mapped exactly the structure that we care about. So resources, and then inside resources we have mapping. Then inside every mapping we have properties and code URI. And then I think at that point you can just deserialize to that struct And if
if he's able to deserialize to the struct, it means that it's a lambda. Otherwise, it will not deserialize, and you go on with your life.
Or I think in that case you might have to do the code URI optional and then filter later. But yeah, I don't know if it's better or worse. I think it's just a different approach.
Line 40, sorry. If we found more or less than one resource, so we should match exactly one resource, we throw an error.
That's fair enough. Okay.
Then we extract all the environment variables.
Yes, yeah, we do that. So we go inside properties, environment variables, as mapping again, and then
we check that the key is a string.
Ooh, this one might actually fail in real life, because there is a bit of a more complex case where you can populate environment variables from SSM parameters.
But the key is not going to be a string.
Sorry, I think it's maybe when you use secrets. When you use secrets on Secret Manager, you kind of nest another object. So if you want to be comprehensive, we are not using that, but this might need some extra.
Yeah, but you are nesting, but you don't nest that under a name for that variable.
The key will be a string, the value will not be.
Yeah, but here is checking the key to be a string.
Oh, that's fine. Okay.
So I think if you want to put something in an environment variable, the key should be a string. Otherwise, how can you do that in POSIX?
And to be fair, we only care about keys in this particular case. We don't care about values. So even if the value was
we create the code based on keys. The parsing of the environment in the environment variable into the trust variable is done at runtime. It's not here. We are just generating the codes. We only need to know the keys. We don't need to know what they map to.
Pedder already arrived at that conclusion way earlier than me. So sorry, I am slow. Okay, so after that, there is a print, probably just for debug.
Why EPRINT-ln is printing on standard R instead of standard out?
I think so, and I suspect because printing to standard out.
I think printing to standard out here is going to create the script. We'll see.
Or is to have this kind of life cycle integration.
No, I think that what you print to standard output is becoming something for for the builder rest. Because at the very beginning, if you remember, of the other script,
here we were printing...
we are printing to standard output commands for cargo.
Exactly.
So here we don't want to give cargo commands, so we use the standard R as an output just to debug and to stay out of that flow.
So standard out is special in that context. We shouldn't mess with it. Okay, so where were we? Here, 51. Okay, then next, what do we do? Props, env properties, which
for
is going to
each
be
property that is a key, that is like our environment variable key.
So this will be a vector of strings. For every one of the strings, what we do is we start to generate code, basically.
Yeah.
And this code is all joined together as one single string, is it?
With 16
new lines.
A new line in the middle. And basically it's writing env-config from name of the property, line below, name of the variable, lowercase, because the property is going to be uppercase, the variable is going to be lowercase. This for every property. Then the output itself, again, is another format. So this is the WOO file. That is use the library env-config, derive debug and env-config for the struct SUMENV, and is putting there all the
props generated.
All the props that generated before. Is also sending the output also to standard R, just for debug probably.
And then out there config output. This is just writing the resulting file.
That is writing the result to the file that we told him to write to. And done. Game done. So Tommaso is saying that
struct name is not used at all. So we should replace this SUMENV.
with the struct name.
Yeah.
another couple of curly brackets, and what is this, a format? Yeah.
Yeah,
And use the
I
config
didn't realize that as well. Cool. I like this code review, collaborative code review.
Do we want? Well, not here. I mean, we can change it, or we can also not
I
change
just
it.
fetched the code, so we can do the change very easily in a second.
Oh yeah, but we can do that later. I mean, it's not.
Actually, yeah, that's it. We don't need to check anything else.
Yeah,
Sure.
accidentally it works. So, Tommaso was saying that if you run cargo build -v, it will print the. No, that was not Tommaso. Sorry, it was better. Sorry, my eyesight is terrible. Yeah.
It will print the debug output from.
Yeah, it will print that debug output, and in theory, if you go inside Lambda confirm subscription, you can run the cargo build manually without having SAM to run it for you, just to show.
Let's do that. So if we go to CD, which one was that?
Lambda's confirm subscription.
And cargo
build
-v.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he's building also everything else.
I think I only built a release mode, so this might take a little bit because it's building everything else. Yeah. Time for a joke. Who has a good Rust joke? Nobody.
Why not Gleam?
Yeah, Roberto is into a Gleam journey lately. He's having fun.
I like pain. No, I'm having pain. Mainly pain.
Yeah, we might do some streams in the future about Gleam.
Yeah,
if people are curious.
Time to understand more, because obviously I'm for sure using it in the wrong way. But when you put a Python developer on top of something like that, is going to.
He's looking for pain.
Yeah.
Okay, come on.
Oh, AWS code.
Come on.
Is so.
There we go. We are getting into something. Did it print anything from there?
Probably didn't change. Try to change one space in the template YAML.
Okay, let's do that fix. Let's do the fix we wanted to do, and then we'll run the build again.
Oh yeah, so the build script will be changed.
So if we go to some env source lib, what we wanted to change is basically this struct name.
Yeah.
Needs to be what is it
config
called?
Dot struct name, comma props. Okay.
Also did some fantastic formatting. Cool. Let's rerun.
Okay, in theory is going to be done with all the other stuff. Scroll. The dependency SumEnv was rebuilt. Dirty. Okay. Compiling. Yeah, but it's not very talkative, eh?
Was it somewhere above? No.
No. Is the compile starts when it writes dirty. You see there, dirty. SumEnv. Okay. The library itself. But it's not It's not rerunning if you change the library. It's rerunning only if you change build or template.
Okay, fair enough.
So try to change a space inside the template or inside build.
Inside build. Let's save. Is it gonna format? It did format. So let's see what
is enough format change. Well, let's see if it's enough. No.
Try to put more V's. Okay, fair enough.
More V's. Yeah, but if it's not, if it doesn't detect a change, it will not trigger.
I wonder, because I have VS Code open, if the Rust analyzer is maybe continuously building for us.
Oh. True.
It did figure out that, though. Okay, doesn't matter. I mean, we can see the generated code anyway.
Okay, let's try to look for the generated code.
So the generated code, we can see if we go into our main, we can see that this SUMENV is there and it's recognized and understands all the environment variables that we effectively have in our template YAML. So where is it coming from? If we click here, we can see that this file is deep inside the target folder, target build, whatever, convert subscription out SUMENV, and this is the code that we have written. I think one thing we can try is that if we call this rather than SUMENV something else, right? Like template env or whatever, we should see that this changes.
Okay, and we have to do that in the build script and adapt the main code to use it.
Yes, so let's call it template env, and if we go to main, this one is failing, so I think the file has been already replaced. So I think Rust Analyzer is doing stuff behind the scene.
Okay. But also we have to import that. No, the import is still with the old name,
we
correct?
need to import.
No, the file is the same. Okay, so there is no need. If you go back to that file that was in the out folder, you still have it.
Oh yeah, because since we are including this way, it's like a copy paste of the file, so we don't need to do an explicit import or to do module column.
No. So in theory, we should already have it if it's compiled. But I see that cargo clip is still clipping down there.
Interesting. Bit slow.
It's still doing something. But like I said, do you still have a tab open with that file?
I think so. SUMENV.
Okay, so
I wonder if it's going to create a different folder. You see how many folders there are?
That's true.
So we'll need to wait. Okay, now it's done.
So now it's resolved.
Is it really done? There will be a new folder. So Pedder is confirming what we suspected. Now, why is it taking forever? Come on.
Tommaso suggested to build from the terminal.
Let's rebuild from the terminal. Okay, now we are seeing stuff. Look at that.
Okay, so now we recreated the struct, calling the struct template env. Okay, like we wanted. And with the variables inside it. Cool.
So I wonder if now this guy is going to be smarter and wake up. Nope. Let me close and reopen this file.
And Rust Analyze is dead in the water.
We killed Rust Analyze.
Rust Analyzer is like, what is going on, guys, here? Why code change on itself?
Okay, is reindexing everything. So
okay, so this time we were able to see in the terminal the output, the standard there output, because basically Rust Analyzer was dead. You killed it. So
okay, now it's awake. Look at that.
Okay. Okay, so changing the variable works, changing the name works. Rust Analyzer is not exactly happy when that happens. But if you command click on top of it,
now it is up, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And it will probably be a different folder than before.
Yeah, probably.
So, okay. So what do we do next? We can merge this PR, I guess.
Yes, with your change with the name of the struct. But put back. Do you want to put back the struct name to SUMENV, or do you want to keep template env?
I maybe want to revert it, but I also don't want to kill Rust Analyzer. Should we try? Okay, let's try. Let's see if it's consistently dead.
Let's say if he's consistently dying of a very bad death.
Okay.
Change also the main. Those are the only two changes that we have to do. And now...
Yeah, it's consistently dead. That's interesting.
Okay. Pedder is saying that probably Rust Analyzer has a different logic than Cargo to build stuff. So
Yeah, I wonder if maybe there is some magic you could put here to.
Yeah, but if it's not using the build RS, yeah. Anyway, from the console you can run it, and from the terminal, I mean, it's going to fix itself.
Yes, let's
I think
rebuild.
you can wait all the time that you want it. It will never recover.
But if we rebuild, is it gonna become smarter? Now it's some env. I'm just curious at this point.
If it recovers without restarting the language, the language server.
No, it doesn't.
Seems not.
Okay, so should we apply this change to all the other lambdas?
I think it's fine. I think yes. But instead of extracting the variables line 107 to 110, can't we just send the env as one single parameter in our config?
I think that's smarter. So what we want to do is basically saying, let's do this refactoring. I like it. So we can say env, some env, right? And that means that we don't
need the clients. We still need the clients. And I don't know
need all the strings here.
Yeah, the decoding key where was coming from is an object. So okay.
We needed to create that. So
yeah.
Okay, so here we just pass the env, remove these guys, remove these guys, env, and that means we can get rid. What can we remove?
Those 4 lines.
We need the token secret only.
Just keep the token secret, yeah, because that is needed in line 112. That now is line 111. That now is line 110.
Okay, so env is some env. Let's just call it env.
I call it as is called in the struct. How is called in the struct?
Env.
Env.
Okay. Is it moved? It is moved because this needs to be a clone, I think.
We use as ref in line 109. Can't we just?
Yeah, let's just do this then. Where is it? 109 there. Can we just do that and not do this?
Is he happy with this?
I think so.
Yeah, because we just need a reference. We don't need
So we can avoid the clone. Okay, now above we broke a few things because now every time we wanted one of these values, we need to do .env. So config.env.
It's also more explicit this way. We know what is a client and we know what is an environment variable.
Config.env. I actually like this idea. Could be refined a little bit more, but I think it works really well.
Do you also want the...
What else?
We also want to create the clients based on the config that we have in the template. If you give a Lambda the permission to touch Dynamo, we inject the Dynamo client.
Oh my god!
If you go on this road, you can also do that. I mean, this Lambda has a policy to read and write SV bucket in non-SV client. So with the same code generation, we can generate the client in the... can generate a function that generates the client and so on.
Yeah, but then you go into the rabbit hole of if you need to customize that client.
Yeah, how do you do that?
How do you do that? And I'm thinking
you add more configuration to the build script, and then you create a programming language.
And the other thing I'm thinking is that right now we always have mandatory environment variables. I think if we ever have the case of optional environment variables, we'll need to either use like an empty string to indicate that it's not set, or figure out another way to make this some env smarter to have like an option type. Does that make sense?
This is getting complicated.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it now because we don't need it, but I'm just realizing that this is another potential feature that might be needed if you wanted to make this as a kind of a general purpose library. Yeah, definitely with an option type. But we will need to support that in our build script and everything else. Or actually, I think the problem is that in the template YAML, we will need to have a way here to say, I don't know, this guy, for instance, is optional. right?
Yeah.
So maybe
Why you want an optional environment variable?
you might have like a feature flag or something like that. I don't know. Again, we don't need it now. I'm just speculating that it might be a feature that eventually will come up if people start to use this approach.
Okay, so going back to our confirm subscription Lambda, we are getting only the environment. We add the environment, the clients, and additional objects to the config for our service, and we run it with this config. And we extract with .env in front of all the variables. So is this compiling? I think so. Is everything green?
I think it is compiling. We can apply the changes to all the other functions and then do a deployment.
And then try a deployment.
Okay, so we need to copy the build
We
RS.
need the build script, and that will be the same if the name matches. I mean, if the cargo package name match the template YAML. But if it doesn't,
it will always be the same.
We will find out, because the script is going to fail, telling us that was not able to find the Lambda. If it happens that it's not finding the Lambda, so I think it's safe to copy and paste. So we have to copy and paste this file and the line in the cargo toml.
Okay, I have another idea that maybe is a shitty idea, but hear me out. What if we do this build RS in our share library and we call the different structs like lambda 1 env, lambda 2 env, lambda 3 env, and we do all of them together. So we have to do that only in the share library. So these will become structs in the share library, basically.
These will become one struct for each Lambda in the shared library. And then we have to use it from there. And the code should only be included once in the shared, we include the exclamation mark Lambda, once in the shared library. Oh yeah, it's an idea.
So Pedder doesn't like it. I already have some conflicts myself, so I'm gonna wait for Pedder to share why he doesn't like it. But I think I have some ideas of the pros and cons. Like at least one con is definitely that you are polluting the share library with stuff that is not really shared. But then the flip side of it is that you create only one build RS.
Yeah, and you don't have like 7, the package name is not needed anymore because you are going through. Yeah, but then
you need to list all the packages. So you are coupling your shared library with all the other lambdas, which is
you're not coupling, but then you have to find another way to identify the lambdas, and can be that you identify the lambdas because they are. I mean, there will be something in the YAML that tell you that this is a lambda. But anyway, you need to go through all the resources, identify which one are lambdas, and go from there. This way, we have an explicit way of pointing to the lambda and taking the environment variable. Otherwise, also we have to change the sumenv lib rs to handle the YAML to identify which of those resources are lambdas and take the environment. Which one are Rust lambdas if you want to be picky. Because I will not, if we add a Python Lambda, we can, but I will not create Rust code for a Python Lambda.
Okay, we guessed all the points against that idea. That's good. Okay, so let's stick with the original idea. I'm going to copy paste this build RS. It shouldn't require any change.
It shouldn't require any change, but there is also a cargo toml change, right?
Yeah, you're right. So we need to be a bit careful. Cool.
There is a cargo toml. There is a cargo toml change in the build dependencies, and in the main RS, obviously, we have to do
because we need to include this env config everywhere. And
env config and also the build dependencies.
Let's start with
the last 4 lines.
Email opened. We haven't done this one yet, right? This one is still an hello world. Yes. Should we update this one though? Yeah, let's update all of them. So when we want to implement them, they are ready.
Yeah, I'll change the cargo toml, just paste.
So let's change all the cargo toml. Being very efficient at copy pasting.
You could do a find, piping aside, and okay, copy and paste.
No.
Okay, copy and paste.
Okay, share library, cool. So that's it. Now we need to do the builder S. So copy that into email open, form rendering, send confirmation, subscribe, and unsubscribe. Okay, now we need to go and change all the code. So confirm subscription is done. Email,
Yeah, but copy line 10 from in the main from copy subscription. That is
This
the
one?
line that no, the one with include. The one.
oh
line
yeah, that
10.
one will be difficult to remember.
Yeah, concatenv whatever, please. Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Copy and paste this in all the main. Are you there?
Yeah,
Oh,
no, sorry, I was
working.
reading the chat that Thomas and Peder are discussing how they could get rid of the dependency, the extra dependency that we will need to copy everywhere. Well, we copied everywhere. So
fine, we can get rid of that later.
Let's include like maniacs. Include, then form rendering, include.
I mean, I'm not even sure that for rendering needs environment variables, but let's see what happens. Let's see when there is an empty list of environment variable. What is the build script doing? I don't remember if it's erroring or not.
Yeah, here we didn't even create a config object, so this is probably not needed. We will need to create here an object that then we are not using.
Yeah, I think for rendering doesn't need this treatment.
So should we revert in this particular one?
For form rendering, revert. Remove the builder S from his folder.
So delete this revert. One.
My God, your font is so small.
Sorry, I can make it bigger.
No, but it's the form that is not changing shape. Is the size, is the form of the system pop-ups that is.
Right. And here we need to remove all of this. Okay, then
for send confirmation.
Email opened, I think we have the same problem because we haven't implemented it yet. So let's not.
Yeah, but email open will have something.
Okay, so do we leave it?
Yeah, because it needs the DynamoDB table. It needs a lot of stuff. And I don't know if we already added the environment variable to the Lambda. Maybe we did.
We might, but here we're not doing anything yet.
Oh, but well, the environment variables are not mandatory to be read, so it's fine if we don't read it.
Okay, so let's leave it as it is for now. Form rendering, we said we're not going to do all of that. Send confirmation, it's implemented, and we need to add all of that. Then subscribe is the same. What else? Unsubscribe probably is going to be the same because we will need Dynamo. We haven't implemented this one. And that's it. Okay, so now one by one, confirm subscription is done. Email opened. We haven't done any business logic, so we can leave it as it is. Form rendering doesn't need environment variables. Send confirmation needs some refactoring.
So now it will be good to go.
So we need to get rid of all of this, right?
Yeah, but to be able to have Rust Analyzer that suggests us stuff, we should go in the send confirmation folder and trigger a cargo build.
Yes.
This way it will create. I mean, the current code should work with that because we are just reading environment variables. So it's complaining about one gazillion stuff, but you run that in very verbose mode.
Yeah, I saw something there that looked like the output from our library generating code. So hopefully it's working.
Again, I don't know if Rust Analyzer will pick it up on the fly or.
Yeah, probably will need a restart. Oh, look at that. It's realizing that we are never reading these fields that we generated.
Oh, those are the...
Oh, no, these are the other ones, the config. Never mind. Okay. So is it better to build the workspace entirely? Cargo should cache the output of the dependency at workspace level and not at the package level. So you're basically saying that if we do cargo build here, should cache it across functions.
Okay, I saw that passing by.
There you go.
Feed instructor, what was complaining about?
I have no idea.
If there are empty struct, can complain. If for some reason we got empty structs.
That shouldn't be a problem. Like, it's common to do empty structs if you just want to, I don't know, implement the methods that make sense together, but you don't need any state.
Mm-hmm. AWS SDK S3 obviously is taking forever to build.
Okay, there we go.
Okay.
So now let's see if we need the electroshock. So what we want to do is let
env equal to some env from env.
Nope, it's not.
Okay.
It's not
Restart
understanding it.
Rust Analyzer.
Oh no, it is. That's the right one.
Yeah.
So
was not from env the syntax?
Or is it? We don't have a new, right?
No, it was from env, I remember. Try to look in the confirm subscription.
Oh yeah, because from env is coming, init from env is coming from that library and then unwrap. Okay, now we have this env. We can get rid of all of this, I think.
Yeah.
We can do the same here in the config. And we can remove client, so table, no. Subscription table, no. Email, no. Secret will be, that's interesting.
In this one, we don't create the key here. We create the key every time inside the function.
Okay, let's fix that as well.
And no, let's, okay, do as you want.
Let's be consistent. Like, it doesn't make sense to recreate the key every time, right? So here env is going to be some env, and we can remove
all the strings.
So all the strings except token secret, which we are going to change into.
Yeah, but the type is not string. The type
is an encoding key.
Yeah, I think. And where do we create the encoding key in the code?
We create it here. So let's copy it here. So let's do let token secret equal that. And this is going to be env.token secret. Perfect. And now we just need to fix all the references with .env. So this one is going to be config.token secret. Right. What did I do? Did I have an extra parenthesis? Yes. Now .env and .env. Is that it? I think so. And DynamoDB client, we created it, but we are not using it.
Why we don't?
I think here we wanted to do some validation. You see all this.
Yeah, there's still to do. Okay, yeah, but we don't validate that it really exists. Oh, well, fine.
Okay, so the next one, send the confirmation now should be fine.
Yeah.
Subscribe is the next one. So we included this. Let's see if now this is working as we expect. If
so
we
let
do
env
equals some env
init from string.
Now it's working. It didn't need a shock. Okay.
Because we built in the workspace, so when you restarted it, it refreshed for all the workspace, maybe.
Could be that. Maybe before we were building in the wrong place. Okay, so here, what do we need to remove?
Why? What is config option?
Where do you see that?
No, gone away. We need to remove the subscription table, the email queue, and the campaigns table. Yeah, those 3 strings.
Email queue, that is a string, yes.
Email queue, I think, is a string, yes.
And this will become env. Okay, and we need to replace here somewhere config env some env and all these 3 strings. And why on SQS client there is a to do left? We forgot
because we did it. Okay, well, who knows?
Okay, so now we need to do a few .env campaigns table. Okay, that's happy.
Yeah, there are a lot of to-dos, but we like to do stuff quick and dirty. At least I like to do that.
I guess me too. Okay.
Nah, you are a perfectionist. Compare to me, at least.
Is that it? Did we do everything? Why did we have cert JSON if we're not using it? Let's remove it. Okay.
There was a cat kidnapping in the meantime.
Cool. Should we try a build and deploy?
Yeah, if we did all of them, or...
Oh, wait, unsubscribe, Should we do it? I mean, what we did, we added...
No, we imported it should build and tell us that we never use the...
Exactly.
Who cares if we never use it?
Cool. So let's build and deploy.
Pedder... Oh God, I don't have water.
Oh, what's going on? Template YAML not found. Do we have the wrong reference somewhere? Because it's looking for the...
from the wrong folder.
You are right. No, still the wrong folder. Now it's the right folder. Okay.
In the meantime, Pedder, how you translate riscattato?
Rewarded. Oh yeah, I drained, so we should drink.
Yeah, I need to. I will go drink. While it means I go to take some water. Right?
Drink beer. Yeah, very good timing. Thank you. Are you on mute, Roberto? I think you are on mute.
Hello, sorry, I was on mute. But we just built it. Why is not cached?
That, honestly, I don't know. Maybe there is something smart that we could do at the configuration level that I'm not doing. So if there is any suggestion, please drop it in the chat.
If Sam is not doing his own build cache somewhere else, because thank you, AWS. Because yes, Pedder is correct. He's building in release mode, not in debug mode.
But I did, like before starting the stream, I did a release build. So what we really change is like one extra dependency per Lambda plus our own new module.
Yeah.
So I would expect this to be a little bit faster. Like it shouldn't be rebuilding everything.
Well, but when you use Rust, you know that the build time will be huge. So you have to put that in the build.
Yeah, we need to do like that XKCD comic where it's like
it's compiling. I think Rust was created to make that strip actual again.
So if people are not familiar with that is this one.
Yeah, why did I hope it's compiling? I mean, is your core are the core of your machine?
Oh, this one is modified. It's like waiting for ChatGPT to respond. Nice. Yeah, the original one was like it's compiling, but this one is good as well.
I think there are a lot of variation. Can you just check your course to be sure that it's doing something?
I think it's doing something.
Tommaso says that probably there is a dash. I want to use cache, please. Parameter for cargo for some build. Yeah, or I want to use cache pretty please. That is the next level. So just to force it even more.
Yeah, CPU load is 70 to 80%.
This amazed me. The amount of computation needed to compile all of this.
Rust Analyzer is like one of my top CPU augers.
In my work laptop is CrowdStrike Agent.
I don't know if you can see this because it's a bit small, and I don't know if I can zoom in, but like, yeah, Rust C is like
okay,
spawning so many threads. So yeah, it's doing stuff. Come on, we'll get there.
I don't know.
Thomas is asking if I'm using my local machine or a remote one. No, I'm doing everything in my local machine. It's already too complicated to set up OBS, and if I need to do a remote machine, it will be even more complicated. Yeah, too many builds at the same time, probably. Used to be a little bit faster. Maybe BuildRS adds significant overhead. Okay, try to see the SAM build option. Let's split this.
SAM build option, please be faster. I don't know, what option are you looking for?
Yeah, I don't think, because SAM build is very generic. So I don't think that it exposes anything specific. Okay, there is cached. Reuse build attribute that have not changed. I would hope that this is enabled by default. Note, AWS MCLI does not evaluate changes made to third-party modules that the project depends on. Example, Python function includes a requirement.txt file with the following entry, request1.x. Okay, of course, some would not understand that. But maybe we can try this next time.
-C. Parallel, enable parallel builds, but I think they are parallel because it spawned like 1 gazillion processes.
There is a cache folder. I have no idea. I think it's maybe into the .sum. .aws sum. Yeah, there is a cache folder with lots of stuff. What kind of stuff? Oh, this is all our Rust code compiled for all the different lambdas. And the build, what is the difference? Is it just symlinks? Probably this. Yeah, it's just symlinks to the cache. Look at that. Interesting.
But why there are only 3 of them?
Because it's still building.
Luckily, we don't have a lot of them because
in the cache we have more. Yeah, which is probably 1 per function, maybe. I don't know.
Form rendering was the function that we didn't touch. So it's using that from cache because we didn't touch it.
So you are assuming that cache is already enabled?
Yeah. For rendering function was touched 1904.
Oh yeah, there is also a cache dir.
But the default is .some AWS some cache.
Yeah, but even like I am a bit disappointed it doesn't tell you what is the default, right? Like even here, is -p and -c already enabled? We can add it as a test, but hopefully it's enabled by default. Okay, new ones are appearing. Yeah, it is definitely doing something, but
Oh, a new one.
another one.
Oh, it's getting speed.
Yeah, it is, I think, slower than the other times for some reason. Maybe it's just my machine is overloaded. We need to get like the most expensive EC2 just to use it as a remote build machine. Okay, it did it. Look at that.
Oh, God.
Beautiful.
It took forever.
Okay, so here we can deploy, we can do a quick test.
And call it a day, I think.
And call it a day, yes.
Oh my God, it took forever to do that build. I'm a little bit disappointed.
Okay, so let's proceed with the deployment.
So now we can wait for somebody else. So we can blame AWS now. Oh, AWS is so slow.
Yes, CloudFormation, so slow.
Done already?
Done
oh my
already.
God.
Okay.
Cool. What is the endpoint?
CloudFormation is so fast. Okay, the endpoint is form, and then I think we call it test. If I remember correctly, let's try that.
If you put the stuff in Dynamo, yes. If you forgot.
No, I think it's still there. Now the email, I think I need to pick it up from here.
Yeah, you created a temporary one like always. Okay. Like usual.
Look at this beautiful graphic. Okay, we didn't do any templating, so this is still the default message. This should be, you have received a confirmation email, blah, blah, blah. Go and check out it. And please now
check
here,
it. Check your spam folder.
Ooh, look at that. Click here. Beautiful link. This is indeed a link. So if we copy paste this one here, there is like a huge JWT. And we got our image from last time. So everything is working.
Cool. So you can merge it after the stream.
Yes.
We want to close it up here for today. Success?
I think so. I will say thank you to Tommaso for the PR and to Peddar for all the extra suggestion and the help. Yes, commit and push, but I'll probably do it, and merge in this case. I'll probably do it after the stream.
Yeah. So let's wrap it up. You can find the recording on YouTube. The link is on Twitch in the About section. If you're watching this on YouTube, we do live streaming on Twitch every Monday, 6 p.m. Dublin time. Make sure to check the Twitch link in the YouTube description. Give us a follow so that you can be notified. Feel free to leave us comments and open pull requests like Tommaso just did. Everything is well accepted. We're trying to learn Rust, so don't expect our solution to be the cleanest or more idiomatic ones. If you know better ways, please tell us. Thank you for all the suggestions in the chat and the collaboration in the chat. And are we going to raid somebody?
Yes, but because nobody that I know is live, I'm just going to raid somebody randomly doing software. So hopefully you're going to have fun.
Perfect.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.